We're now going to talk about one of my favourite sources of public domain materials. Many of the sites we talked about up to now have been, a lot of them have been things that are quite old, things that are from the past. Now, the world's governments, every single country will have sites like this. I'm going to focus on the USA site, but your country will have similar information. How much? Who knows really, it depends upon the country you're in. You're going to have to dig around to find it. But basically, governments all over the world produce reams and reams of information every single day. They produce reports and all sorts. But what they don't do is, much of it isn't actually copyrighted. It's in the public domain. So the people own it, which means basically you can do what you like with it. Some of the reports, if they're produced by an external consultant, will be copyrighted. But the majority of it isn't copyrighted. So that means you can do what you like with it. So you can come along here, we can type in a search, so we're going to search for loans, and it will come up with lots and lots of websites within the US government that's about loans. So you can see here, there's a government loan program site there, and so on and so forth. So you can see there's quite a bit of information there. Direct consolidation loans, so all sorts of information there to help you basically if you want to find loans. So you can see that you can come here and you can search for your keywords and you can find public domain information that you can then take and use as is on your website, or you can edit it and create unique content from it. You could create reports, you could create anything you want, really, anything, absolutely anything. But there's some very, very valuable information here, and I use this information to create myself websites. If I'm creating a website on loans, I would have some articles written, I'd have some books or something like that written, or purchase some books to sell, and then I'd come along to a site like this and I would go through these sites. I'd find relevant information to the niche I'm targeting, and I would use that on my website. Either I would use it as is, or I might edit it. It will depend on the information, but there's a lot here, an awful lot that you could use and profit from. So your taxes are paying for this information to be produced, so you might as well use it and make good use of it. You can see you've got frequently asked questions here. You've got links to all the forms, so you can either copy the forms onto your website or you can link direct to the federal forms here. You'd have to check exactly what's sure. You can look at federal aid and so on. So a lot of different ideas here, but the main thing is a lot of this information isn't produced by your $2 for 500 words article writer. It's produced by government experts. I mean, these are top scientists, top brains, top politicians are producing this sort of information. So you can access this and use it. So basically you get access to high quality top writers for a pittance, for nothing, absolutely nothing. Your taxes are paying for it. So have a search and find the information you want, because a lot of this is freely available. I mean, for example, if you look for information on, say, a bankruptcy, it's a big subject at the moment with the economic climate. There's companies that will offer to sell you all sorts of information to help you go bankrupt. But basically what they're doing is they're giving you information that is freely available from the government websites. It's just the government websites don't know how to rank in the search engines. So when you type in "how do I go bankrupt," for example, in the search engines, the government site doesn't appear, but all these other sites that say "I'll do it for you for a fee," they appear because they understand search engine optimization. But in many cases, all they're doing is presenting you with information that is freely available from a government website. So have a good look through, because there's an awful lot of ideas here for you and a massive amount of information. Okay, now here's another one, govspot.com/news/reports. It's basically lots and lots of reports from the government, and you can see there's all sorts of subjects. So again, if you are looking to create a site on children's well-being, you can get statistics and all sorts of information here. So you can use even the information here, you could take statistics and other information from these websites and use them in your sales material. You know, if you had a statistic, you know, from this that over 50% of children live with at least one working parent, that really can add some weight to your sales letter. So, you know, you can look at the education comparison and so on. You know, this is obviously, it's a United States website. But what you can do is this information, these reports, could be used on your website. They could be used as web content, as giveaways. They could be used to enhance the value of a book that you're writing. So if I'm writing a book about looking after children, I may well come here, download some of the reports and read them and use them as ideas for content or as references in order to really give my book that weight and value in the eyes of the people who read it. So it's worth your while coming and having a look through this site and finding some of the bits and pieces that are here. I mean, there's information on grants, for example. I know that's a huge topic that people pay lots of money for. Education, employment, health, and so on. So you can see there's you know, lots and lots of stuff here that you could use for your website to do pretty much whatever you want with. So, you know, have a good look through this site and see what you can find. And here's just one more for you. This is the NTIS. It's the National Technical Information Service. Again, it's a United States website, but it has lots and lots of reports and information on it. It basically they compile statistics and do all sorts of, you know, big brain stuff in a sort of office somewhere with no windows. So you can see, you know, if you were doing a website about immigration, you could come here and there's a yearbook of immigration statistics that could be valuable information for you. And there's all sorts of other technical reports and so on here that you could potentially use. You could do a search here and find the information you're after. So, I mean, we've only touched on a couple of government sites here, but, you know, there is so much information produced by the governments that it's crazy. It really is. I mean, you think about the United States, there's I don't know how many hundreds of millions of people live there now, but there's tens of thousands of people that work for the government that basically spend their life creating reports that go into the public domain to sites like this so that people like you and I can use them to turn a profit. And now, a lot of potential sits here. It really does. I mean, we've looked at, over the last few videos, video and books and audio and images, and you can see there is so much available for you to use. There really is. What I would recommend is just have a think about what you need it for. When you come to create a website, okay, don't go searching through some of this stuff and because you'll get lost. You could easily get lost if you look through this. Unless you're looking at sort of the audio, video and public domain books, what you want to do is actually have a website idea and then come to sites like this to find information to back it up again. Statistics like these will be very powerful in a sales letter. So you know, you can use this to enhance your sales letters, enhance your books on your websites. You can use them as website content and so on and so forth. I mean, you can use them as ebook content or whatever it might be, but there is a massive amount of information here that potentially could make you an awful lot of money. So I would strongly recommend that you spend some time, just go through these sites, have a look, understand them, understand what they have. Yeah, just set aside a couple of days and say, right, I'm not going to do anything else, I'm just going to look through these sites. Get your head around them and what's in them, because then once you've done that and you're creating websites in the future, you will know what's available to you in the public domain that you could use, and it'll help speed up your website creation. So yeah, massive potential. There really is. I mean, I can't tell you how much you could earn from public domain. I mean, people do earn six figures just from public domain materials. They really can. I mean, some years back, I can't remember who it was, I think it might have been Yannick Silver. he had a business where every 6 months or so he'd release a CD of public domain books, basically, or a DVD. I can't remember which, but there'd be 100 or so, maybe several hundred public domain books and images and stuff like that. And he would say, right, I'm only releasing 1,000 copies of this to the general public. So he'd only sell 1,000 copies, but each one would set you back $500. So you can see instantly how much he earned from it using it that way. I don't know whether it's still done now, but there's a lot of potential for you to use these public domain materials and create some really, really neat products and services that could make you a lot of money. I mean, that's just one way that it's been used, but people use public domain materials to create AdSense sites, reports, ebooks. They sell them to business builders. I mean, you could create business in a box, in various niches with some of the material here, and sell them to business opportunity seekers for quite a substantial sum of money. So there's a lot you can do with this, and you're going to have to step outside your box a little and really think about what you can do, what you want to do with it. I mean, you can do anything with it, but what do you want to do specifically? I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself when it comes to this. So this is all the government information. Remember, NASA's in the government. A lot of their information's in public domain, pictures and so on and so forth. So you can use that as well. But this gives you an idea of the breadth of information available to you to pretty much do whatever you want with. So, huge, huge, huge earning potential for you.